What is up, people? Grant's podcast, you know what it is. Keith, aka OG Grant. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get into the show. Hello, people. Habarienu, Jumbo. It's pretty much the extent of the greetings I know. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a long time since I did a podcast. I mean, I've been recording, but I haven't been editing because, laziness and all kind of excuses. But we're back. But that means we have more to talk about in this 30 minutes. So, first and foremost, a lot has been happening since when I say we, is the two people who are listening. A lot has been happening. I have been learning. I've been learning a lot of stuff. But since you decided to be my audience, I'm gonna hit you with all this nonsense. So yeah, I've been learning a lot of things. Just reading philosophy, neurosurgery books, just getting inspiration. Self-help books too, but I usually feel like they're bullshit books, because there's this person who's lived their life, and they're telling you how to live your life. So I don't believe life is one size fits all. I don't believe that. So yeah, I just read it and then I'm like, yeah, it's bullshit. So I've been talking to a lot of people. Private conversations. I started writing again. I used to write stories with a friend of mine. I wrote an article which I haven't released. It's just a form of venting, just basically what this podcast is for me. This podcast is also kind of therapeutic. I've been laying plans out for different kinds of podcasts, soccer, parenting, which haven't come to fruition yet, because people are busy and we don't want to commit. But yeah, interesting things going on. Streaming wars. As of now, Apple has its new streaming service, Apple Plus, which is they're hoping will help sell more iPhones. What else? For those who know Fitbit, Google wants to buy it. I don't know if they're going to go through, but it would be a big step. So big news have been coming in, plus all the other political stuff, which I won't get into. So what have I been doing with my time? Mostly working. And I've done a couple of photo shoots. There's this one show that I've just been watching religiously, Watchmen. I like the movie because of the deep philosophicalness it had. So I have committed so much time in watching that series. It's pretty good. It's good. I love it. But it depends. They also have a podcast. Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. They have the director, I believe. No, I'm not sure. Don't take my word for this, but a guy who's involved with the project is the one doing the podcast, and yeah, it's pretty good. We can delve into and start talking about it, but yeah, if you want to catch that, go watch that. I was watching Wu-Tang, then I stopped. Just been so lazy to pick it up. But yeah, I've been watching soccer, the English Premier League, the Champions League, of course. So just boring stuff, really. Nothing really major. But yeah, I've been enjoying the photo shoots, because we've been like the other day we went out and there was like a sunset. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to. So what are we looking ahead to? Well, it's November. Christmas is around the corner. Um, and where I am at, it is not winter yet, and we already had snowfall. That was crazy. I think that's the earliest snow has ever fallen since I came to America. Oh, and heads up, if you can hear any background noise, dude, I don't have the best studio. It's you'll hear a combination of fridge noises. I know I might piss a couple of people because I usually always say this when I'm recording. You might hear the AC kicking in, the heat. Well, it's a heat. Yeah, my daughter might start crying. I usually say that, then she starts crying, so I'm gonna stop jinxing it. And basically, and I haven't been on Twitter much, so that's an improvement. I'm trying to stay away from my phone, but I've been downloading game because I play this game, soccer. It's called something 11, top 11, I think. So basically, you get a team. You're the manager. You're supposed to manage it, win title, win the league, win the Champions League. And so, since I am very frugal and I don't like spending money, I don't believe in spending money in games, basically. So what I do is there's like a free tokens. They're called tokens. You just click on that button, then you go to a site which has like games you can play or servers you can fill out to get tokens, so you can buy players, you can make improvements to your team. So I've been downloading games, and I get how they do that, because they get you. Because some of the games I've started playing, you join a group, you talk to those people, you interact, help each other out. But then I feel bad once you get the tokens. I used to delete. But then there's some games you're in there and you're like, I'm gonna think I'm an asshole, because it's basically you've used them. Well, not them, the game, and you've achieved what you wanted. So, and I think I have a problem. I hoard things. My wife says to me very often, I hoard things, and I think I should accept that. I've been denying it, but yeah, I've realized sometimes, even when you go through your when I go through my friends list, the people I follow on Instagram, on Twitter, in the house, there's some shit that is old. Do you even use this? No. Why are you still keeping it? I don't know. I might need it. I don't know if you can relate with that. Because sometimes you're supposed to throw some things out, but you still keep them. I don't understand why. So I'm trying to train myself to get rid myself of like the clutter, all that. So where was I? Right. Yeah. So basically, I couldn't delete games because whatever. But then there are some which you play and they're so good, and then you invite someone else to play and they like it, so you're playing together and it's like this bonding moment. It's weird. But yeah, and as always, sleep is a problem. I need to get rid of my phone. I'm on my phone too much. But also, I feel like pretty much of our lives are on our phones. Because I was watching this documentary, like in China. In China, people are not paying using cash anymore. It's WeChat. And I remember when I was back home, I downloaded WeChat because I was so bored and I was looking for like a social media account other than Facebook and Twitter because I was bored. And I found WeChat. I mean, I didn't have any friends on it. But then when I came here, I totally forgot about it. Well, I never used it. Then I was watching this YouTube channel. This guy goes to China and he made an iPhone from scratch. He's made this, I was about to say Samsung, an Android phone from scratch. And when he was buying the parts, he was using WeChat to pay. I mean, he used cash, but then there's the documentary I'm talking about. It's called New Money or something. It's about how the culture in China has changed and how it's a cashless society now. And I think I'm from Kenya, but we don't talk much about the invention. I don't know where it came from, but we have this invention. You don't need the internet to you send money or pay for stuff. So we call it M-Pesa. Pesa denotes money. The M before denotes money. Oh, I mean, sorry, mobile. So it's mobile Pesa, M-Pesa. And this is an invention which, no matter what kind of phone you have, even without internet access, you can pay for shit. You can send money. Well, there's a charge to every transaction. Then there's these agents who transact. If you want to deposit money, you go to them, you give them the cash, and they deposit to your phone. So they get commissions and all that stuff. So yeah, I thought of China. China's doing that because they have the internet, and people. The guy was interviewing people, and they're like, now if you take away my phone, I don't think I can survive because everything's on the phone. I don't carry my wallet anymore. But in the society I live right now, I think for me, I feel like I should put down my phone. Like as I'm talking right now, I have a game open, and I am tempted to play. I think it's the colors, because I've noticed when I'm sleepy, I randomly get up, check my phone. There's no message, but then there's no notifications from the game. So I open the game, and I cannot go back to sleep. So that's a problem for me. So I'm gonna try to work on that, and I'm gonna update you guys on that. So yeah, that is that. Otherwise, I've been watching a lot of documentaries about I was just watching one about greed. This guy was trying to find out what drives human beings to greed. He talked to a bunch of people from Africa, from Greenland, from the United States, from Asia. And what I took away from it was the thesis of the thing was a lot of people were saying, well, not a lot. There's one guy who said, he's a sociologist. He said, we fear death, and that's why we consume more and more, because you're like, if I buy more stuff, I might live to use it. And there's one guy from Zimbabwe who quoting the Bible, saying it's about richness and everything. It's just, but then he is, I think, the president, the former president, the late former president of Zimbabwe's cousin. So he's bragging about their shoes he hasn't worn in ever since he bought them. And then the same country, there are people in poverty, so they touched on climate change and how that is affecting us, and also, so there's one quote I got from that, and I had to pause it and type it down. It says, "The world is a haystack. Each man plucks from it what he can. Humans wish to have or possess, but can we have anything without taking it from someone else?" So basically the idea of that is the rich people who have stuff are basically taking away from others. But I was reading also a book called Naked Economics, and he said, for example, Bill Gates, he hasn't taken from anybody. So this is the argument, like a counter argument for that, because he basically has a skill which, even if you took all his money, you stripped everything from him, he has that knowledge which he can start again up and be at the same place, basically. So it depends on education. Is advocating for education, but you never know, like, whoever's writing their intentions. So you kind of I disagree with some people, but you read through and you see like their point of view of things, just because that's the kind of person I am. So yeah, which is a valid point. maybe he hasn't stolen from anybody. He just has better skills than you. Some people are lucky. They have a better start off in life. But the guy who was bragging about shoes in Zimbabwe, he said he was poor. He used to sleep on the floor and all that. So it kind of reminds me of my childhood too. But so that's when I went into like this deep thought about how right now everything I do is to try and make up for the things I didn't have, which I understand, which I understand why I do that. But then you kind of sit back and you look at it and like, dude, what are you doing? That's the past, because you're trying to live in the past and you're in the present. Like, you should do what is best for now, what is crucial now. So I think it's a bad habit, which honestly it's going to be hard to fight off, because it's hard for people to change unless you're committed, man. So yeah, I mean, I watch such things, and I just, how does this? I reflect on how does this my life. I watched a documentary about tires, and then this documentary I just watched, and the guy was talking about how the tires you cannot see, but when you're driving, the little parts. Well, he said anything you do, pollution, it'll always end up in the North Pole or the South. So when you're driving, this is argument, there's little pieces of tires in the air. They end up either in the North and South, and we know the North and the South, they're usually cold, ice, freezing. And basically, he was like, tires, I don't know how true this is, I didn't fact check. They say tires love the sun. So basically, when the little tiny pieces of tires are heated, they melt down the ice. I think, this might be controversial, but I think global warming is a real thing. And people are talking how, well, the documentary said how human beings might be the first species that contribute to their own demise. I guess we just wait and see. So yeah, it's just interesting. It is very interesting to watch and read thought-provoking stuff like that. So yeah, on the tech front, Mark Zuckerberg wanted to start this cryptocurrency called Libra, and he had on board MasterCard, Visa, Uber, these big tech companies. They slowly dropped out before he testified before Congress. And so Congress, I think what's funny with, before I get into the Libra thing, when tech executives go to Washington, D.C. to testify before Congress, I don't think, maybe now there is, but there was a point where, because some of these Congress people are very, not to be ageist, but they're very old, and they don't understand how this technology works. Some of them, but some of them do. So they start hitting him with, questions about Facebook's stuff, or the story that came out about the people who were contracted to pull down nasty videos. Basically, they're not Facebook employees per se, because they're contracted, so they're not in Facebook offices. They queried him on that. I mean, he even said about Libra, he might not do it. He might get the chance to, because Facebook is, scrutinized because of elections, and it's muddy. For my clock here, we have 10 more minutes. So yeah, basically he wanted to start a currency which will be backed by real assets, and like Bitcoin, which is a cryptocurrency, which is backed by just supply and demand. The lower you the higher the demand, so the value goes up, and vice versa. So he wanted something that could be cheap. You could send money to anybody, because if you've ever sent money abroad, Western Union, all that stuff, you'll see that it's quite pricey. Because if you want to send a certain amount, the person will probably receive less. So it's a good idea. It's a really good idea. I liked it. I looked at the code. I read the white paper. But I think it's just the wrong time, because Facebook is under heat. Because they're saying Facebook is not the one who's going to be overseeing it, but it's their idea. So basically, most governments are going to feel like it's a threat to them, because it's basically these tech giants are getting so much power, blah blah blah. So he might be ahead of his time. I don't know. We don't know how that might play out. So yeah, that was interesting to see. Back on the climate change issue, because people are bashing fossil fuels, excuse me, and advocating for electric cars. Right. My argument is, electric cars use batteries. At some point, those batteries will have to be disposed, and they have lithium. They're lithium-ion batteries, because for it to be rechargeable, it has to be that. Well, not even it has to be rechargeable. Batteries are the rechargeable ones I know, like the ones in phones, laptops. Those are lithium-ion batteries, so they will get disposed at some point. And when we're talking about that, I mean, it's a good idea. Electric cars might help with pollution and whatnot, but the production of those batteries so unless we come up with a really effective method, that argument is pointless, really. Because someone said these days people don't debate to learn. They debate just so that you can say you won the argument, as opposed to at least learning something from it. And that's why I think political shows, they're ridiculous, because it's just people bickering at each other, and but I can go on a rant about that. But so yeah, I've just been chilling, man, reading, watching sports, and thinking about investments, because I'm trying to start investing when I'm young, because gotta secure the future for our kids and stuff. And also thinking about college. I don't know how I can pay for college. Well, I know you can get grants or scholarships, but let's be honest here, your boy's not that smart. So the only option is take a loan or pay out of pocket, which at the moment I don't want to take a student loan because of the interests and all that. Because and out of pocket is kind of tricky, because you have to unless you're super mega rich and that. So I'm in the middle of that, trying to figure that out. So I'm doing my research, my due diligence. And if you have any suggestions on anything I see on the podcast, please leave it in the comments. I appreciate all the positive and negative sentiments. So hopefully I'll talk to you guys soon. I might, if I have something, I might be releasing episodes more frequently, depending on the scheduling of things. Otherwise, that is it for now. I'm gonna go cook up some food because I am hungry. So it's almost a minute to top of the hour, and I know this is not 30 minutes, but that's all I got. I had plans. I'd say that stop at a certain time, and I'm trying to keep my word on that. So thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Share, subscribe, and like or dislike. Leave the comments on how we can improve this show, and I appreciate the love and listening. So I'll talk to you soon. It's been Keith. Sorry, I didn't even introduce myself. Yeah, my name's Keith, and I am signing out. Thanks. This has been our Ginger Records production.